Welcome back everyone, Dustin here again, Average Guy Hi-Fi. I've got another subwoofer review for you guys. So what I've got sitting right here next to me is a, obviously it's a very compact subwoofer, but this right here is the Sunfire True Super Junior. So it's a very compact subwoofer as you're seeing compared to the other ones that I've shown you in here. It's 9 inches tall by 9 inches deep by 9 inches wide. So it's a very, very compact subwoofer. It actually has a 7-inch woofer and then a 7-inch passive radiator. So again, if you follow this channel, you know that I'm a big fan of passive radiator subs, and I'm like praying that one of the other big brands out there, you know, Golden Ear makes passive radiators, Definitive Technology makes passive radiator subs. There's a few other brands out there doing it, but I would really like to see somebody like Shu or SVS or PSA or Rhythmic maybe try to do like little compact subs. Just give it a shot. I'll probably be a buyer if you come out with something like that. But I've always liked the kind of punchiness that I've seemed to be getting from passive subwoofers compared to just regular sealed subwoofers, and the extra extension, because basically what the passive radiator does is it tricks the woofer into thinking that it's in a bigger box. It almost acts like a port without getting too technical. Again, this isn't the technical channel if that's the stuff you guys are into. So, rest of the specs for this guy are that's a 1500 watt RMS amplifier. So to get away with the bass response that this little subwoofer does in such a tiny package, it really needed a couple things. It needed a very beefy amplifier, 1500 watts RMS, and it needed very beefy drivers, or a driver in there. So, and they achieved that. This thing, they have a frequency response down to about 22 hertz in like your average room. You need to kind of corner load them most of the time. Positioning is very important with the subwoofer. I would definitely recommend doing a subwoofer crawl. But the good news is it's so small that it can go under like a nightstand. It can even fit under the cavity of a couch. I've seen, you know, some couches I've had in the past. This thing, if you cut that little liner underneath the bottom of the couch, this subwoofer might just fit right up in there nicely. So it's totally out of sight, out of mind. Which is ideal because in the bass, especially because you can put it really close to the main listening position, and then you can have it turned down a little bit. So basically the bass response would be very, very, you could feel it a lot if it was that close to you. So again, look up subwoofer crawl. I thought about doing a video on those, on subwoofer crawl for myself for the channel, but just haven't got around to it because there's so many different options out there. So the rest of the stats are, again, it's only 9 by 9 by 9, so it's a very compact subwoofer. It weighs about 30 pounds. I actually have the, might as well just show it to you. I wasn't going to, but I actually have the non-super version of this subwoofer. So that's what this one is. This right here is the Sunfire True Junior subwoofer, and this is the super of the Junior subwoofer. So basically the regular version has a little bit less powerful amplifier, and then you can also see from the woofers themselves, well, maybe you can't, but the surrounds on this one, it just comes with a much more powerful woofer that handles more power than the ones that are up here. This is still a beastly powerful little subwoofer. This one just takes it to the next level. So that's what I'm going to be reviewing for you guys over there. So we're going to go there to the other room. I'm going to put on my one of my favorite bass demos, the movie Tron. The excursion that this little subwoofer has, I had to put the microphone, I kept having to move the microphone farther and farther back, but what I did was put it in my main listening position, played the grid scene from Tron. If you guys are into home theater bass, then you kind of know that scene, but it just really, really, I've just thoroughly enjoyed my time. And shout out to Boris. Thank you for letting me borrow these. You know, Boris is a good local guy here that buys a lot of audio gear off me, and I bought stuff off him. So we kind of do some swap back, but he let me borrow these for a review, so I appreciate that. But I might even buy it. I haven't quite decided yet. He offered to sell me this one for $250. So the MSRP on the subwoofer is $895. And he's offering it to me for $250, so a very good deal. Haven't quite decided on that yet, because now that I've reviewed it, I don't necessarily know if I want to own it, because I need to, you know, the whole nature of this channel is keep grabbing subwoofers, keep reviewing it, but I'm still giving it some thought. It's a very good deal. So let's go over there. Let's show you guys the movie Tron, and then let you guys see the woofers in action.
I'm not a program.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the demo. Again, if you watch this channel, you know that I love the movie, the newer version of Tron, and I'm hoping they come out with a newer version even, because you know, the visuals for that movie, the sound effects that they came out with, using Daft Punk for some of the music, it just really, it's not the greatest movie on the planet by any means, but the visual experience and the audio experience with that movie is just really, really, it's enjoyable. Like, I definitely thoroughly enjoy that movie. And I think that they came out with a new version with Atmos and 4K and all that stuff. That visual is just going to be even better. So home theater enthusiasts really know that movie already. And if you got some good subwoofers, it'll definitely show them off like it did that little Sunfire in there. So what I got sitting here, again, I'm going to be putting speakers from... you know, once I'm done with the review, giving you guys the Average Guy Hi-Fi score, I'm going to be putting other gear that I'm going to be reviewing coming up here next, so you guys get a little sneak peek. I thought that would be maybe a fun idea, what's around the corner. So now we're on to the Average Guy Hi-Fi scoring section of the video. This is my favorite part. This is where I give you guys 5 categories that I rate the subwoofer off of. Each category is worth 10 points, 10 being the best. And then the 5 categories are quality, bass response, the MSRP, pricing of the subwoofer, the aesthetics of the subwoofer, and then also my price paid. And what we do is just average out those scores and then give you guys the Average Guy Hi-Fi percentage, which is the score that will ultimately just go, hopefully there's going to be some type of a spreadsheet, or I'll be able to give you guys some type of a chart, because I know right now it's a little bit confusing, but channel still needs some work, but I'm just trying to pump out the content and do these 2 videos a week. And then eventually I'll start figuring out how to incorporate the Average Guy Hi-Fi score. So that's kind of right around the corner, and the logo is still being worked on. It's going to be ready here shortly. So things are progressing on my end, and the channel growth has just been amazing. So thank you guys very much again. So we'll jump right into it. Quality, I gave this little subwoofer an 8.5 out of 10. Very dense cabinet. You knock on it, you can tell that everything in there, it needs to be. Everything that's attached to that wood cabinet is very heavy. That amplifier is heavy, that woofer is heavy, even the passive radiator is heavy. So it's a very stout cabinet. Amplifier feels nice and high quality. Again, it needs to be at 1500 watts RMS. That's a beastly little amplifier. And again, the woofer is just that huge surround on them. These are older. It's an older subwoofer, but the surrounds feel nice and supple still. They have plenty of excursion. Don't feel like it's getting any kind of rot or anything like that. 8.5 out of 10 when it comes to the quality. The bass response, I also gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It depends on how you rate it. This subwoofer is never going to compete with the dual 15 subwoofers out there, or the single 15 inch subwoofers out there of the world. These are designed to be a compact solution for kind of deep bass extension for most smaller to medium rooms. So, and it definitely does that. My room, it was hitting the 22 hertz, which it claimed, but again, my room's pretty easy, and the position where I show you guys the video is pretty much optimized in my room. So it definitely digs into the 20s when it comes to bass response. For a subwoofer that's 9 inches by 9 inches by 9 inches, that's just stunning. Those are it's a single 7-inch subwoofer with a 7-inch passive radiator. So what Sunfire was able to accomplish with bass response was really, really remarkable. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10 when it comes to the bass. The MSRP pricing, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's a $900 subwoofer no matter how you slice it. So it's not inexpensive. You can definitely buy a $900 subwoofer these days that would outperform this little guy, but you'd be very hard-pressed to find another subwoofer that performs this well in that small of a package. So that is really that's why they need to throw such high-quality materials at this little subwoofer to make sure that it has a chance to get that 22 hertz big extension in a little tiny compact package. So 8 out of 10 when it comes to the MSRP, just because I know that you could spend less and get more performance, but you wouldn't be able to spend less and get more performance in a smaller or even similar size package. So that was the goal. 8 out of 10 MSRP price. The aesthetics, I gave it a 9. I think that, you know, you could put this thing under an end table. It actually fits inside my my media console. You just put it right on top of those end planks and it just kind of blends right into the rest of the system. So this would be one of those subwoofers that ideally you just kind of put it out of place, just kind of hide it. Next to an end table, next to your couch might be ideal because that's going to give you that close proximity of the subwoofer so you don't have to try to strain it as much. And you also get a little bit more impact, especially if it's not in a null or anything like that. So always do the subwoofer crawl to make sure you're optimizing your subwoofers. Otherwise, you could be throwing money away buying good quality subwoofers and then putting them in rooms that are just fighting them too much. So aesthetics, 9 out of 10. And the main reason is because it just blends into just about anything. Nobody's going to be offended with the size of this subwoofer. My price paid. Technically, it's on loan, but the guy it's a friend basically at this point in time, he said that he would sell it to me for $250. So I'm basing my price paid off of that number. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. $250 for this subwoofer is just a killer deal. I've just had better deals out there, as you guys that follow the channel know. Again, it's kind of like the Youth Man deals. The ones that just really stick out are the ones that I'm after. And those are the ones that I know that I can buy stuff, review it, and then sell it and get most of my money back, if not all my money back out, which is important to this channel. Otherwise, I won't be able to continue it. I can't lose money on doing videos. So I'm trying to walk a balancing act here, getting stuff inexpensive, reviewing it, and then selling it very inexpensive as well too, and hopefully passing on the good deals, which has been working. It's just been great. Price paid, 7.5 out of 10. So what's that all average out to? Averages out to 41.5 out of 50, which is an 83% average guy hi-fi score. I just love little compact subwoofers. Again, one of these days I'm going to build my own theater, and I'm going to probably go with dual 15s or dual 18s. So this is not designed to compete with those, but you're going to it's going to be very hard for you to find another subwoofer that you like as much, that digs as deep as this one, that fits in that type of a compact package. The only ones that really come to mind would be the Velodyne that I reviewed, a couple of the little Super Cubes, especially like the Super Cube 2. It's pretty compact, but it comes with a 1,000-watt amplifier as well. So those things, they definitely pound as well too. But I think this one might have the edge, even over Definitive Technology, which has 2 passive radiators. But again, you know, that's just my personal preference. These things are very subjective. Either way, you're getting high-quality bass and small packages if you're looking at those 2 different brands or 2 different models. So very good score, 83% average guy hi-fi score. Again, I've got some other gear over there, got a couple more subwoofers, so I'm going to keep this going. 2 videos a week, that's the goal, and so far I've been sticking to it. Some days I get off work and I'm like, oh man, now I got to start researching and, you know, doing all this stuff, but I'm actually enjoying it. So it's kind of helping keep me out of trouble a little bit more. So I hope you guys are enjoying the content. At the time of this video, I think we're at something like 820 subscribers, which is just amazing. The channel growth is really amazing. So I appreciate all the support. If there's people out there in your lives that are looking to do like an inexpensive home theater system, that are looking at the used market, please share my channel with them, because I might be able to give them some pointers. People are asking me questions. I'm trying to answer those as I go. Again, I have a full-time job, so sometimes it's a little bit slow for me to respond, but I'm definitely trying to reach out and at least answer as many questions as I can for you guys. So thank you again for the channel support. I really appreciate it.